Tonight's webinar is on 4 main topics. First month in the Platinum Squad, preparing yourself for spring, preparing yourself for 3K months, and then obviously the horse system, which a number of you have just started on with that 3-month offer. So if you wanted to ask a question, let's start it off. And then once a couple of questions get asked, I think a few more of you will get going. Don't be shy. Yep, the big return of Stephen. Okay, cool. First question we've got is, are you asking whether we should do 10 to 15 on promo bets before touching a promo? I think that's what you're asking. So obviously, Platinum sustainability video suggests that what a lot of people used to get stuck on is they used to just go 10 to 15 on promo and then just hammer promos. Obviously, we don't want that. We want to gradually introduce promos. We want to gradually use promos. Staking is obviously important as well. If you stake 50 on your promos versus 10, like you can probably get away with staking $10 promos and use most of the promos. Most bookies probably not going to ban you. The smaller ones might. But if you were to stake $10 on every sports bet promo for the rest of your life, I dare say you might get banned, but I'd probably say you wouldn't. But it's when you start doing higher promos, and where a lot of rookie match bettors go, which is consistent through that 2-hour video, comparing what a rookie match bettor does, is I'll try and compare what they do. And the higher your stake is on those promos, the higher chance you are getting banned. So it's all good and well, 10 to 15 on promos, but then it's not a license to go and hammer. You also have to consider what bookie you are using, which now the bookie list is a cheat code to be able to use, which Greeny's made. So there's a number of different things that you need to consider when starting to use promos. But yes, you should be aiming to get 10, 15 non-promo bets on before you start using regular promotions. Now, on the flip side, obviously bookmakers know that match bettors do that in terms of using non-promos and then going straight into promos. So what you can do is sort of buck the trend. You can throw in a promo bet in your first 10 to 15 just to keep things a little bit random, but I wouldn't be doing it with a high stake. So I don't know if that answers your question, but you need to consider a lot of factors. There's no right or wrong. Just use common sense. Don't go in and make a Bet Deluxe account and, I don't know, put 4 $20 bets on and then hammer 3 $50 promos on a Saturday, because most likely you're going to get your account banned pretty quick. The other thing as well is what you can consider. I know we kind of talk a lot about all these rules when it comes to sustainability, but above all, if you're using 30 to 40 promos in a week, let's just say if you're following the horse system, which would be what you're doing, if you only have 8 bookies and you've got to use 40 promos, the video in the horse system explains this, then you're capped at a minimum of 5 at least on one of those bookies, if not all of them. So 5 by 8 is 40, right? But if you had 20 bookies, then all of a sudden you could split 40 promos across 20 bookies, then the average can be 2. So getting more bookies open is going to indirectly make your sustainability better, regardless of how good you are at sustainability. So I'd be focusing on getting more bookies open and priming as many as possible, and then you'll have a better success at sustaining your accounts indirectly by just using less promos per bookie. Not sure if that makes sense.
One thing I'll add as well to that, touching on how you're saying some bookies operate differently and they catch on and they sort of know what you're doing. Definitely for new members, you probably haven't ventured too much into the bookie list yet, I would suspect. Or you definitely haven't absorbed all the information in the bookie list. Now, don't get overwhelmed with it, because there is so much info in that bookie list. And it is super valuable. But something that is definitely very useful when you're in the account setup phase is taking note of the differences between the bookies. It's either I can't think off the top of my head whether it's the defense notes or the account setup notes column on the bookie list. You'll see that there's very specific information about each individual bookie that is going to basically mean that you can do things a little bit differently, or you need to do things a little bit differently for each bookie. So you might be setting up a mint bet. Don't touch any, sport non-promos on a mint bet, for instance. You might be turning over bonus bets on one of the amused groups, Bet Nation, Bet Deluxe. I'm fairly sure in the bookie list.
Or like play up, don't like sport. Yeah,
play up, don't like sport props. So they're just a couple of examples, but the bookie list has lots of information on this. So when you are setting up your accounts and you're getting those 10 to 15 non-promo bets across your accounts, Do it in line with the information in that bookie list, and use it, because that bookie list in itself is extremely valuable, and it can save 2 or 3 extra accounts from being promo banned initially, because we are starting to see a bit of that happening where bookies are just sort of taking a bit more of a risk when it comes to banning people initially. They're just sort of not even giving you a chance to prove that you're a mug. They're almost just going, nah, this guy's a match better from the get-go. And generally they're probably getting it right a fair bit. So we need to get smarter and change that up a little bit, and that bookie list will help you do that. When priming accounts that require Betfair in accordance with the bookies list, is it recommended to do all non-promos and bonus bets on racing, or can you add some sports in as well? Currently, I've stuck with racing events only.
The reason why that's in the bookie list is because, like we said, Play Up and some of those bookies don't like sport on the first few bets. And when you bet on those things, you basically admit that you're a match better. So I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, I can hear you now. No, you're right.
Sick. So the reason why you would do that, for the majority of your first few bets, definitely do horse racing. If you know how to use horse racing with Betfair, what you can do is not open an account that requires Betfair if you still haven't learned it. So there's probably 20 that you could open before Play Up that would be beneficial to open up, so you can practice your 2-way Dutching, your 3-way Dutching, if you want to go down that pathway. The alternative is you just go and learn Betfair. You take a little bit longer to get yourself set up, and then you open up all the bookies that you can, regardless of whether they're Betfair or not. And then you just take notes of the ones that need horse racing, and then you do horse racing. So to answer the question, yes, I would do pretty much exclusively horse racing for those bookies to start off, just because that we know that they don't like sport. The only problem is people who don't have enough bankroll. There's a video that I've made. It's not currently in the course. It's doing some final touches of editing. I walk through 3 different examples of people, like someone who has like less than 2K, someone who has 5K, and then someone who has like 30K. And essentially what I point out is, if you have more money, you can obviously open up more bookies quicker, because you can just distribute and take offers really fast. However, if you have less money, then you have to be really tactical and strategic with the way you're opening up your bookies. So if you have 2K to your name or $1,500 to your bankroll, there's no point going and taking a $500 match for a $250 bonus. Not that many of the bookies give that, but that there's a third of your bankroll gone into one bookie, and then you basically have to be stingy with all your betting and constantly worrying about where it is. So just be a little bit tactical with how you're distributing your money. And obviously, for those of you who have joined this investment, maybe you're still in the conservative mode of wanting to prove to yourself that it works. As long as you're not a gambler, as long as your discipline's good. If you've got spare money sitting away in a savings account, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, but I know when I was match betting, the more money I actually put into this investment, the more I made. So once I knew how it worked, it's kind of like, well, if you've got 5K sitting there and then you're shooting yourself in the foot by not being able to open up more bookies, then maybe think about freeing up some capital. Just something to think about.
Good questions. I'll ask. I'm going through the questions. A couple of questions here about unit sizes. One from Liam, going up in unit size. So it's actually a 2-part question. I'll start with Ding Dong Smith's question. 3 weeks in, loving it and learning Betfair. What is the time frame for increasing stake size? E.g., start with $10 but throw in $15 here or there. What sort of time frame should you wait to constantly increase to, say, $20 or $30? And then part B of that is Liam going above $25 when bonus is up to 50 and going up unit size as well. But start with Ding Dong Smith and going from 10 to 20 to 30. What's the sort of time frame there?
This for non-promos, yeah?
I would say this is, well, it's just increasing stake size. So I'd say...
Yeah, but he said Betfair. Oh, okay. No,
he's just loving it.
Yeah, okay.
Betfair,
yeah.
I'd say to profit.
Just confirm, Ding Dong Smith, if you're talking about promos, obviously I assume you're talking about horse system. The good rule is keep it at 1% bankroll. So if your bankroll's 2K, I wouldn't go higher than a $20 unit size. If your bankroll's 3K, wouldn't go higher than 30. If your bankroll's 5K, wouldn't go higher than 50. But again, you can't start with 50 if you have 5K because you need to prime your accounts. However, your question's asking how fast do you go up? I would just move up. 2 things you got to consider is firstly bankroll. Stay within that 1% rule. Obviously, divide your bankroll by 100. technically that should be a unit size at a max. You could go higher technically to 2% if you want to be more aggressive, but I'd say safely stick at 1 and then work that way up. The second thing is you need to actually be competent in your skill level to operate those higher unit sizes. So there's a number of different things. Why we recommend, regardless of what your bankroll is, why we recommend people start on maybe 10, 15, $20 units when they're starting with the horse system is because unless you are, I don't know, Albert Einstein who has 8 arms, you're going to make mistakes at the start. And if your unit size is 50 and like you watch Steve's massive 2-hour vlog, like he's making errors, he's been doing it for 5 years. So you're going to make errors on those higher unit sizes. So don't make those errors at the start when you've got bigger stakes. Make them on smaller bet sizes. So get your skill level up like 10, 15, 20, nail that for like a week, 2 weeks, get confident. Even do a day or a week where you don't actually place the bets and you pre-plan, fake it. People like paper follow, pretend they're going to follow, and then the week after they start. And then just prime your way into it. And then eventually you're going to get to the end of month 1. You've seen 8 iterations of a horse system session, whether it be Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, 4 times. And then, okay, now I've got my bankroll. I've primed my accounts. I've slowly worked up. I've got more bookies open in that time as well. And now I can go to 30. Then I can go to 40. And then over probably by month, obviously assume you've got 5K. I'd say by the end of month 2 to 3, you want to be getting to $50 units. Now, previously we've probably been a little bit more conservative. Maybe probably not 2.
Yeah, month 3.
But then some people could go. Some people could go to month 2. It just depends on like whether they're scaling as well. Like if you've got more accounts than your own set, then of course you can go to 50 by month 2. But previously we've shot ourselves in the foot by being so conservative and slow with people's progress that the people with more bankroll, they get left behind when they could be doing more. And that's what I'm a little bit worried about when we're so conservative. However, if you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, then you're not going to get probably 50 until end of month 3, like Steve said. But for the people who have maybe 10K, you should be looking to progress faster. And ask us how you can do that in your coaching channel, because like there have been members who have pushed faster through the pipeline, I guess, and got to higher levels much faster. Maybe for those of you who are part of like the tennis sports system, a lot of you joined with 3K bankroll, 2K bankroll, knowing you weren't going to get the full stake sizes on the actual sports system. But the butterfly effect in you joining now has put you so far ahead of where you would have been by not joining that now you are ready to fucking take on spring with these huge unit sizes that you wouldn't have got to if you were not in that sports system, because now you've seen it work, even though you weren't following it to the full capacity of $50 unit sizes. Like the seeing is so underrated, and just doing it, the iterations of the reps. And then it's like, well, fuck, now I know this works. Here's my bankroll. It's now 5K. It's now 10K. Let's print. And your sort of apprenticeship and foundation's been done. And now it's time to turn on the printers. That's what we kind of want to do.
Yeah, I was going to add to that as well. You said competence, but also confidence as well. Yeah, so you need to have the confidence to be able to go up to those higher unit sizes, but the confidence in the sense of, as JP says, you need to have seen enough reps to be so confident in what you are doing will work long term, so that, you know, if some negative variance comes or you do make a mistake, you don't crumble, or you don't get emotional, or you don't start doing things outside of the ordinary because you're so confident in what you're doing at the same time. So that's an additional, bit of an intangible, measurable to take into consideration. An extra thing to take into consideration as well when increasing unit sizes. I'm going to assume everyone here is following the horse system, because that's where it's super relevant towards, is that when you go from a 10 to a 20 to a 40 to a $60 unit size, and there's some very significant jumps. Once you go above a $25 unit size, all of a sudden the logistics of actually following the horse system get a little bit trickier. For instance, if you're on a $30 unit size and we send out a 2-unit play, which is very common within the horse system, you're, two units on at $30 unit size, that's $60. So that means that you're placing $60 worth of promotionally covered bets, but we know that most of the bookies only offer coverage up to $50. So that means you have to place 2 bets, one $30, maybe 140, 120, maybe 150, 110. So that means you're placing twice the amount of bets. $25 unit size and below, if we send out a 2-unit play, you're just placing a $50 bet. It's only 1 bet. It's much more easier to do. It's less preparation, less organization, less logistics. Obviously, you go to 30, it becomes double the amount of bets just for that play. And these are the extra things you have to consider. So these are, get up to that $20 unit size pretty quickly, and then get real confident with that, because then when you go to that $30, $40 unit size, things are going to get more difficult. Stakes are a little bit higher, so you need your confidence to be up. You need to understand what you're doing. You need, obviously, the bankroll. You need to be primed, but you're also going to be adding a little bit of extra difficulty to following the day as well. So just extra things to consider. So you don't want to try and launch into it all and then try and have to learn a million things all at once on a $50 unit size when you're not ready for that.
Yeah, no, for sure. There also is there's a bit of like limiting beliefs sometimes for people as well. It's funny you talk like that. I was talking to someone in the gym today, a bit of a side quest, but it's crazy to know, like, when you start off here, you kind of think, oh yeah, $50. Like you said, it's really hard to do that. It is at the start, but after a few months, it becomes like tying your shoelaces. Like people doing like thousands on each race. It's like they're doing the same thing you're doing in the same amount of time. It's just they have a higher efficiency and a higher, I guess, skill level, but it's all the same thing. And once you realize that, then that's kind of where people start, I don't know, I guess, scaling their operation pretty fast, realizing the potential with it all.
Yeah. 100%.
John, I've gone a side quest off this question, but he's asked about the capping of the tips.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's ever happened where we send something out at $3.50 and it goes to $1.80.
No, he's saying if we had 5,000 people,
I still don't think that would happen. Maybe
I mean,
on a Wednesday,
on a
but like
Wednesday meet, yeah.
On a Saturday, even so, 5,000 people I guess it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to have that problem anytime soon. And yeah, I wouldn't stress about that, John. But I know you're new. You're the father of a very, very profitable member, so welcome on board. But good to have you back. Good to have you on board. Sorry. But any more questions? Yeah. All right. What do we got here?
There was a good one I saw from. How do we go about using deposit offers whilst only doing non-promos to start with?
So I think that's a confusing one. If anyone listening, I don't know if this is like not made clear in the course, but bonuses are not they are technically promotions. But when we say don't use promos at the start, that is not bonuses. You should be using sign-up offers. They are how you make money at the start. So use your bonuses 100%. Like use them. That's the free money. That's how you're going to build your bankroll. If you've got $2,000 and you have no bookies, or you've got 10 bookies, go to the bookie list and go to town on signing up to bookies, because most of them are going to give you, whether it be $50 or $100 bonus. We know that bonuses are free money. The more bonuses we get as a match better, the more money we make. Now, at the start, all you're going to know how to do is to turn over a sign-up offer, right? You get a bonus. Once you learn Betfair, you do that at 80% average. If you're not competent in Betfair yet, 65, it's worth $65 per $100. That is free money. You should use them as much as you like. In terms of the sustainability around them, the video in the module 1, defense and sustainability, tells you not to use bonuses in certain ways. It tells you the order in which you should place your bets. Bonuses are not promotions. Like, they are counted as promotions on the bookie side, but when we say don't use promos in the first 2 weeks or whatever, that is not bonuses. Bonuses can be used. How you use them is really important. I think that's discussed in module 1, but I'd be turning them over, getting them. They're free money. That's how you build your bankroll. So make sure you're not throwing them away or letting them expire, because they are free money.
Yep. Question here from Lockie. It was a private question, so I think that might have been an accident by him, but was following the horse system on Wednesday and was not getting any second or third bonuses back. I don't understand.
I was actually going to reply to him today on his channel.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think.
Let me finish the questions for everyone else. Sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand why I wouldn't get promos. I'm definitely not banned on Ladbrokes for promos, but for example, Raceway Doomben not getting anything back. Promos change from person to person? ?
The last bit is why you didn't get the promos.
Especially
definitely, exclusive promos for Ladbrokes. We obviously provide a promo list, right? I'm not sure if we're still writing.
I think I'm going to change the format to make it clearer what are account exclusive promos and what aren't. I think
that just says normal promos for yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is fair. If you weren't across that, fair enough.
Yeah.
But what can happen, Lockie, is some of those promos on there, I'm not 100% sure. I'd say Nation, SwiftBet, PlayUp, Tab, maybe it's PlayUp is exclusive, but check your account. Just you when that promo list comes out at the start of the day, go on your account and plan it. It'll take you 5 minutes, and then you can use the planner that Steve's made for the spreadsheet that MM John's used in his vlog.
John's made.
Literally, it'll take you 5 minutes. That's going to enable you to see what you have, because even yesterday there was someone who had a promo on, I think it might have been Dabble, and then that's actually been added to the list. But you just because the promo list says all these promos, you might have your own promos on bookies that aren't even there. So we want to teach you guys how to become somewhat self-sufficient, because if you're just relying on us to do everything for you, yes, the promo list is correct. But if you have 5 other bookies that aren't on there, you don't need to ask us, can we use it? Just use it. It's a second and third offer. Use logic, use common sense. We want to be able to teach you to think for yourself. Use those accounts in addition. And again, if you don't have those accounts on your, if you sign into your Ladbrokes and there's no promos, then you got to know that that's not a promo. But don't stress, Lockie, if you made an error. That's just part of learning. And this is what we mean by when you start, doing these mistakes on smaller unit sizes is so beneficial, because you're going to make errors. Things happen and you just learn as you go.
Nice. Question from Andre. Can I withdraw anytime on Betfair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to ban you. They're not a retail bookmaker. They never going to ban you for profit. So yes, you can withdraw whenever you like from Betfair. What I'd recommend, I think that's Dre. He's got low bankroll, just joined. Dre, I would recommend not putting too much in Betfair, because you might not need it if your stakes are quite small. I wouldn't put more than a couple of hundred max. It's good for turning over bonuses, but obviously if you are putting 500 in Betfair and your total bankroll is 800, then you're kind of stuck. If that money ends up in your retail, I'd start lower, split your bonuses, because also withdrawals are quite slow on Betfair. They take 2 days sometimes, so can have your money stuck in cyberspace for a bit.
Question from Nick. If starting unit size is $10 and we get a $100 deposit offer, should we split that into 10 $10 bonus bets?
What bookie? It depends on the bookie, depends on your bankroll. I wouldn't do 10 10s unless your bankroll is 1,000, then maybe. Because then, it depends. If it's sports bet, no, you're not going to get banned by turning over a $50 bonus on sports bet. The only positive to that, it would be you get 10 chances to practice, but you also get 10 chances to potentially, if you're doing it really obviously, if you did that on two-way Dutching and you did 10 two-way Dutches from $4 to $9 on, let's just say, Bet Deluxe, then I reckon your account's done, because you've just shown them what you're doing. But I guess the advantage to splitting that many would just be bankroll, and because the bonus liability on the other side, or the hedge amount, whether it be two-way Dutching, three-way Dutching, Betfair liability, it's going to be probably $40 or $50 max, rather than if it's a $50 bonus, you need $300 or $400 on the other side. So yeah, I wouldn't do 10 10s. Maybe reply back whoever's asked that. What was your thought process there? What were you trying to do? Were you doing it because your bankroll was low, or because you thought it was the right thing to do, or whatever? I'd be keen to hear your thoughts on that.
Nice. Quick one from Glenn McGrath. The How to Use Discord channel has message history disabled, so no one can see the messages there.
I know what that is. I saw that before. So that's because the bot, Lenny's just turned that off for admin only. Because we used to verify people's accounts through the gain access channel, that's now off. Steve set up on the website. I have no idea how that works. That's a Steve question.
As of last night, everyone should have platinum access on Discord and Horse System if you're a Horse System member as well. If you don't have access to the platinum channels or the Horse System channels, go onto the website and there'll be a button, link your Discord. It'll be in the members only section where all the tools and stuff are for platinum or Horse System. Click on that if If you still have
Do you want to
issues,
share your screen?
reach out.
Because I reckon people don't actually know where the new bookie list is and things like that. This isn't explained in the course. I did a loom the other night and showed everyone, if you watched the video like 2 weeks ago before the webinar, it might have been last week. But yeah, if you're on the website, you just go to the part under where the content is, and it's got everything, including like Lenny's spreadsheet for 80% turnover, the system recording spreadsheet, the bookie list, etc. When he gets it up. Yeah, sick.
So this is on the Platinum Squad page. So
are you logged in?
Yeah, I'm logged in. Yeah.
Okay.
So click on that to link your Discord. I'm not going to click on that because I don't know where that's going to take me. But if your Discord isn't linked or you haven't clicked that button, you'll be able to click that button. It'll be able to link your Discord. This will be announcements channel. Get into that. That's on Telegram.
Yeah, make sure you're in that.
I just realized
a lot of people aren't.
I'm on an account that doesn't have.
That's what I was going to say to you because it's showing all the other shit. Yeah.
I was
really shouldn't show the profits and all that. Yeah.
It's still all here anyway. Like all the resources, the bookie doc, the 80% underlay guide, the recording spreadsheet. It's all in here. Then obviously the course, you'll be able to click on there to go through it. This will take you to, if you've got scaling access, it will take you to there. If you don't have it, everyone's pretty new here, so a lot of people probably won't have it, but it'll be there.
Resources, correct, Max.
Yeah, and then horse system, it's the same deal. It's in here, all the same stuff. Probably need to fix up this section. Content, everything that you need, it's going to be here as well. And then the tipping channel, if you haven't joined the tipping channel, you'll be clicking on that link to join the tipping channel, and then the same deal, link your Discord through Discord there.
Is there anyone here that's not in the horse system? Like, obviously, you're probably not going to say yes, but if you're not, like, make sure you're aware that you get a free month on the horse system if you're not a member currently, and you've been emailed and texted a few times about it. So make sure you're in there. You literally get a free crack at seeing how it works, and you get a free personal coach along the way. That's probably something that going back on the agenda of away from the questions, I just want to say something. If you're here in your first month and you need a bit of help, you need a bit of guidance, you've literally got that free month there, which obviously everyone thinks is just about the tips, about making money. Yes, the horse system prints money long-term, but one of the best benefits is getting the ability to just message one of the coaches whenever you like. And even though you're expected to do your homework yourself and put the work in, you have the ability to ask them a personal question based on, they have all your info. They have your bankroll. They have your planned unit size. They have what bookies you have. You write all that down at the start. And then from there, like you have access to them. So a lot of people waiting, I'm just going to join in like 3 weeks when I'm ready. I would say like, just join like now, because like heaps of people
especially now that
here.
Especially now that it's a free month, like
legit, like
people didn't want to join.
But even people saying they're not going to join for 3 weeks because they want to make the most of their entire free month. It's like, no, get out of that mindset of like trying to perfect like the timing of it.
Just get in there.
Just fucking get in there. Like everyone that's in there, I'd love to hear people's experiences here in the chat of like people who waited or people who just went straight in, because it's the same with, like I said before, with the sports system. Like people weren't quite ready technically in like June or July when we had that fourth intake. But all those 50 that jumped in are now like well ahead of anyone who waited. And now they're ready to print for spring. It's like the quicker you get in, the faster you get exposed to everything, the faster you learn. Like it's just different, like forcing yourself to move. So the code is being put everywhere. If you aren't yet in it, just check your emails. If you haven't got an email, I reckon maybe there's a problem, but you should have got one, and go follow the instructions in there.
Question from Wayne. We've already sort of touched on it, but I'll just quickly clarify. When we prime accounts on the horses, are we to lay on Betfair? Yeah, definitely, Wayne. So we're backing on the corporate bookies, backing on our bookies, and laying on Betfair. We're going to take a slight loss. Obviously, if we can get the same odds on the back odds and the same odds on the lay odds, the loss we're going to take is just the commission if the horse loses, and we won't take a loss if the horse wins. If what I just said sounded Chinese and you're like, what was that? Definitely go watch the horse non-promo videos that have been put into the course. They explain, how to go through with your horse non-promos, backing on the corporate bookies, laying on Betfair. Ultimately, we just want to get that betting activity up on our brand new accounts, and particularly getting it up on horses so that the bookies just think we're degenerates.
Scott's got a good question about setting up. A question for new members and people coming back to match betting. Is there such a thing as priming new bookies too quickly, smashing non-promos over a 1 to 2 week period instead of spreading them over 3 to 4 weeks? Yes, but it all comes back to your promo use. If you're just doing it over 1 to 2 weeks, and then you don't use promos, then that's better than probably doing 3 to 4 weeks. However, it all comes back. You're not going to get banned by doing too many non-promos. You're going to get banned by using too many promos. So it's somewhat irrelevant how fast you do it. It's more relevant as to how you use your promos after you start using them. So if you're rushing, if you're getting things done properly, yes, you can take a little bit longer. You can slowly introduce promos rather than get them smashed. I don't know, doing 3, 4 or every Saturday versus maybe doing 1 or 2 and slowly building that up. So I'm not sure if I answered that, but it's more important about how you use the promos rather than how you prime.
On my spreadsheet tracker, this question from Lockie, just another quick question. On my spreadsheet tracker, in the profit column, it comes up with #ref ! Do you know why it would say that and not show total profit? Yes, that'll be a little error or glitch in your spreadsheet, Lockie. Chances are, off the top of my head, I'd say that you've probably deleted a row and now it's put the formula out of whack in that profit column. So if you're good with Excel, what you can do is go to the cell above that was previously working, put your cursor in the bottom right corner and it'll give you a little black cross. Drag that black cross down and it'll fill the remaining rows below it with the correct formula. If you don't know what that means, go into the Tracking Bets channel in Platinum for Discord. If you've got any spreadsheet related questions, go into there. I reckon I've answered that question probably somewhere in the spreadsheet tutorial videos, but just put a screenshot there and I'll be able to answer it there and fix it up. Question from Rimon. JP, when does the next semester start for the sports system? A little bit off topic, but I think it's a pretty sort of on topic question. And there's a lot of people in here that I think will be interested.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's a question for you. We don't actually know yet. I'd say within the next month, definitely.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. We are sitting down tomorrow to plan that. So we will have more updates on that.
We're probably going to look at a couple of options. Yeah. Like in terms of whether we do a yearly thing or whether we keep splitting it into summer, winter. So stay tuned. Obviously, if you are a current winter sports system member, you will get looked after again. I think we're going to consistently keep doing that discounted rate for anyone who's a current member. Mm-hmm. And then obviously anyone who's new will get access. We want to reward, like we just did with the horse system, like people have just got $1 a day essentially for the horse system for the next 12 months, which is crazy. But obviously if you took advantage of that, well done. But yeah, we want to reward the loyalty of people sticking around because we feel like you've invested in us and we want to keep providing value, but sometimes it's give back a bit and a lot of people have appreciated that. So we'll continue to do that with the sports system as well. But yeah, I'd say within a month from on.
Really good question here from Don Jayasinger. With PlayUp not liking sports singles, is it best to just do Fudger multis in amongst racing non-promos? This is probably a bit more advanced than people in their first month, but it's very good to expose everyone to. Definitely Fudger multis are elite. They are, I'd say, one of the best non-promos you can do for defense sustainability. You're putting multis on. Bookies love multis. So definitely, Don, if you're at that point where you're looking to change things up, at the end of the day, sustainability is about looking as unstructured and as unsystematic as possible. So if you can put some Fudger multis thrown in there, in amongst your horse promos or your horse non-promos, then you're really starting to emulate what a typical mug punter looks like. They do multis and they love betting on the horses. So definitely strongly recommend Fudger multis for your non-promos. Go and learn that method if you're ready to sort of take your game to the next level. If you're just in your first couple of weeks, and you're still a little bit overwhelmed, don't stress. There's something to work towards over the next week or two. But definitely Fudger multis are very good for defense sustainability. And they're really good to just like validate that you're understanding the concepts of match betting, because they are quite tricky the first few that you do. But once you get the hang of it, it's really good. So definitely do recommend that, Don, particularly on your bookies like PlayUp as well that don't like some sports singles. Question from Victor. This is about sort of setup, which I think is very good to touch on. Would it be possible to place bets systematically using just a phone without needing to sit in front of a computer on a Saturday? What would you recommend for a setup for someone just starting out, JP?
It depends what he's trying to achieve. Yeah, you can do everything from your phone, but I don't know. It's a hard one to answer. If you're just starting out, like Steve went through, probably the best thing, if you haven't watched a Steve video, you do a bit of it on your phone, correct?
Which one? The vlog?
The long one, yeah. Most of it's on your phone.
Yeah, it's all on my phone, but I'm sitting in front of my laptop.
Yeah, like if you want to be doing Betfair and stuff like that, like you can technically do it on your phone, but if you're starting out, I would not recommend that. It's so hard to do it. And there's just not enough information to be seeing on the screen. Like me and Steve could do it because we've done it for 10 years, but it's just not what I'd recommend. I missed the full question. Where is it? If you've got a laptop, then definitely use a laptop. Because some people don't actually have a laptop. I'd get one, and then I'd also get a screen, at least one screen.
Yeah.
If you have the money to do that, definitely invest. Get yourself a setup. The Betfair setup video that's in module 3. I used to laugh at people when I was sort of younger and dumber about environment being so important to how you work, but I can't reiterate enough. Like if you live in shit, you will end up shit. So that's a new, if anyone wants to use that quote, happy to put my name on it. But if you have like a setup of a desk, you are going to be much better than if you're fucking guessing on your phone or half laptop or whatever. Like when I was match betting, I never had a screen, believe it or not. Never ever had a screen. One laptop, one phone, and that's how I went. But in hindsight, like if I had better setup, probably would have made a lot more money and saved myself a lot of time and energy I think that's the key more so than the actual money. It's like you cost yourself energy and time by, like, for example, how the fuck are you going to track your spreadsheet if you just got a phone? It just doesn't work. And then you're guessing your profits, and then it's just a disaster trying to input things later. It's just a waste of time. And then eventually you're like, oh, this doesn't work. It's taking up too much energy. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to quit instead of just getting set up properly and actually doing it properly.
Yeah. I think that there is a world where you can follow on your phone. Once you get the hang of things, I'd say to begin with, you want to learn on a laptop, commit to it. Like your first 6 weeks, I would say, really just fully lock in. It's no distractions. You can have the footy on in the background or whatever on in the background, but you're not there. You're not at the pub. You're not, even doing things in between. I would say for the first 6 weeks, just lock in and learn everything. Get your routine, get your efficiencies up in the way that you operate your own day. And then once you start to get a real hang of things and you start to get a good feel of how everything works and what to expect and when you're going to place your non-promos and when you're going to place your bonuses. And if you go watch the John's vlog, he plans exactly when he's placing his non-promos, his bonuses, his promos, everything throughout the day. When the sports tips, he expects those to come through. He plans all that, and then he works his day around that. And so then you can start doing that. So, if all of a sudden a Saturday comes around and it's your niece's 5th birthday or whatever, or whatever it is, you can go out and you can spend a couple of hours and you can get your bets on your phone, because you know what's coming, and you can add that layer in, so you're not fully tied to your laptop. But to begin with, to learn properly, to commit properly, learn it properly on a laptop, commit sitting at a desk, and then you can sort of go away and have some weekends. If things pop up on a Saturday, you want to run out for a few hours, go and do that, and you can follow on your phone, no dramas. But you really do need to nail your processes first, I think, anyway.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that last point, like once you're set up, like Steve said, you can have a Saturday where you literally are just on your phone. And when we say this, we're probably not talking about laying bonuses on your phone. We're probably just talking about following the horse tips.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to be every single Saturday doing non-promos in between races. That can be taxing, right? The best members of the community obviously do that. They sit there from 11 till 5. They allocate that. They prepare themselves through the week, knowing that they're just going to go hard in that 6 hours, and that is their printing session, right? Then they don't do much outside of those other hours. Yes, they do like kind of, I don't know, an hour a day or something here or there. They do a bit of Wednesday, but the Saturday session is the most important. Having said that, though, like Steve said, if you're out and about, you can still follow the horse system. Don't not follow the horse system just because you can't get on a laptop for the day. Still follow it. you can follow everything from your phone. Like unless you're on more than a $50 unit size, you can probably still do it, but it just becomes a little bit more tricky. But you can still have that day here or there where you just do it on your phone for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously for that one day, or those days where you don't do that, your sustainability is going to take a hit because you're just going to be placing promo after promo after promo after promo after promo, and that's sort of just the balance of your own priorities. Like if you're getting frustrated because you have to sit at home and follow on a laptop every single day to match bet to the best possible way that you can do it, and it means that you're missing out on other things that you love in life, and it means and eventually gets to a point where you're like, fuck this, I'm going to quit match betting. No, don't do that. Just tailor back your match betting a little bit. It all comes down to priorities. Obviously, the members that are making 20K a month, they are prioritizing match betting heavily, so they are locking in heavily. Not everyone has those priorities or those ambitions, and if that's the case, then don't beat yourself up if there's a day or two where you can only get on the first half of the day, or you're following on your phone and you have to turn over your bonus bets on a Sunday. You're not going to you shouldn't get banned in theory if you've got everything else set up and your prior history and your prior defense and everything is fine. One day of, not getting non-promos or bonus turnover on the Saturday isn't going to kill you, and, don't stress too much about it, but obviously don't make it a habit. And obviously the more risky you play it, the you play with fire, you're going to get burnt the more you do it. So, they're things that you just need to weigh up, but don't let it, take away from your life if that's something that you still want to be able to do on a Saturday after or whatever. And yeah, Adrian's just put in a good comment. Plan your day early, and you can execute on your phone. Hard to balance for sure. If you plan the day fine, then the phone is no issue. But obviously, it's all trade-offs. It's all priorities. Question from Andre. Really good questions from Andre. Cheers for being super active, mate. I got banned on Pulse and Noisy 2 months ago, but now I can see the promos. Is it worth to check if the horse promos are still valid? I would say no. You'll be done. If you've been told you're banned, I wouldn't even bother. If they've sent you an email, the only time I would ever test to see if I've got promos or not is when you suspect you don't have promos, but you haven't been told, because some of the bookies won't tell you when they promo ban you. And so in order to do that, I always would just put like a $5, or, depending on your unit size, I'd put a $5 bet, but that was when I was on a large unit size. You can put a $1 bet on a promo race, and if it hits, obviously you're only ever going to be able to know if it hits. So if it doesn't hit, then go again. If it hits second or third and you don't get a bonus back, then you know that you don't have promos. If you do get a bonus back, then you've got promos. But yeah, if you've been told by Pulse and Noisy that you're banned, you're probably done. Andre, I wouldn't even bother. It will mean that you're also done on Bet Deluxe, Bet Nation, Big Bet, whatever. I feel like there's a sixth one they've got that I haven't thought of there, but you'll be banned on the whole group. Another question following on from that I saw earlier that I didn't respond was someone asked about getting non-promos or getting promos back. And can you get promos? Is there any evidence from Maury? Is there any evidence if you have a few banned accounts that if you smash non-promos on them that you will get the promos back? I would say no. There is evidence, but it's probably less than 0.1% of accounts I've ever heard of getting promos back. So Maury, recommendation there is just to set and forget. Having said that, there are some bookies that are known to ban and then unban. I've seen a bit of history of MintBet. I'm not too sure if anyone else can confirm that, where they will ban early but then potentially give you back promos with a little bit of non-promo activity. I know TopSport used to do that as well. Might be a good question for the Discord. I'm not entirely sure if that's on the bookie list, whether some bookies do unban. But generally speaking, Maury, once you're banned, move on. Don't waste your time there. You're only going to burn money. You're only going to waste time. Focus that energy elsewhere that's going to make you guaranteed money.
What if the email does tell you that account to get reviewed after banned? That's what they love to tell you, to keep betting.
Yeah. Yeah, they always say that.
Like, yeah, we'll keep reviewing it.
Yeah.
No worries. And I gamble every day.
Yeah. We've touched a lot on setting up, I think.
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Let's move on. What's next?
The 3K
we've done horse system, haven't we?
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, far.
A bit of a follow-on question from that, which is a question from Jed, sort of on the same topic towards the end. Can the bookies see when we are placing bets on a laptop? If so, is it bad for sustainability because we will stand out?
Yes, they can.
Yeah, they can see. So this is the point.
Check it.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. What do you reckon?
Well, yeah. This is first. I just wanted to touch on. Yes, they can, and this is sort of what JP was saying with linking accounts. They can see your devices. They can see these sort of things. They can see where and how you're placing bets and from what internet and all this sort of stuff. So that's where people get stuck with stat decks. And they're the easy telltale signs, which is obviously, what is touched on in much greater depth in the scaling course. But yeah, in terms of, is it bad for sustainability? Look, betting from a laptop
depends what bookie.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell. It does depend on what bookie, correct?
We don't. Like Sportsbet and Tab are not going to give a fuck if you're using a laptop.
Nah.
But I mean, I don't think anyone would really.
I would say that a phone is the best because most mug gamblers are betting on their phone. Reality.
Yeah, and the app specifically.
Yeah, specifically on an app, so they can tell whether you
use browsers. I'd say you're probably more sus. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Maybe.
I would agree. This is a very we're getting into
speculative territory.
Very speculative. We don't know. The bookies would all operate differently. They'd all have their own signs. Reality is, Jed, I guess, is what does a mug gambler do? Let's try and look like a mug gambler as much as possible, and that's going to be best for sustainability. Is what I'd say to that.
Nice. What's next?
A question from Henry, and I think it's a hard one to answer, but we can have a bit of a discussion about it, and I think it's very useful, particularly for new members. On average, how much can you expect to lose from non-promos in a week with a unit size of $40?
I mean, good question. I guess it's a hard one to give you a definitive answer, but I wouldn't be losing more than it depends. If you're making, I don't know, $500 a month, which you'd maybe more on a $5 unit size, $40 unit size, sorry. If your non-promos are significantly eating into your profit, if you're losing 100 a week and then you're only making 800 a month, then that's half your profit gone. $400 non-promo and 800 profit over the month. I would say keeping it below a percentage, you were doing those, that the video you did, I think you ended up finishing at 3%.
I did.
On your phase 2. And you did higher.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was.
But you made a mass error and you still only got 4%. You lost $50 or $25 on a race.
Yeah, I had some blunders, yeah.
But that happens, right? And you still got 4% or maybe less. So, I mean, and that's going to be less with two-way Dutching. You shouldn't be losing more than sort of 3% on two-way Dutch across multiple bookies. So I would say, go again.
I'd say, particularly to begin with, you don't want to be losing more than 10% on your non-promos compared to your profit.
Yeah, 10% is huge, but
I'd say 10% for the first couple of months is pretty reasonable. I would say.
Yeah, on small bet sizes.
On small bet sizes, 10%. Obviously, if you're losing 10%, but you're betting $200 unit sizes, that's not too good. But by that stage, you've got your skills so refined that you've worked your non-promos down to potentially 6-7%.
Yeah.
It depends once again how
much. It's a hard one. I would focus on making money before I would be trying to invent things on non-promos or trying to save 2%. Make profit and then work out how to reduce that. Obviously, there's obviously people doing more advanced stuff that are getting closer to zero, but obviously working with Lenny. But that's something for future if you want to get down that pathway. Because obviously, if you're turning over a lot of money, you'd want to reduce those costs down more and more over time.
Yeah.
Okay, I've just rejoined Horse System after being away for 6 months. How much has changed in the space in that time? Good question, Cal. Welcome back. I mean, things change all the time. I think people get a little bit scared. Like I was talking to someone today, like the same guy, and he's like, oh, the promos are like not as lucrative as whatever. But it's like, you just adapt. Like if you went back to 2014, 2015, 2016, there was uncapped early payout promos on every AFL match on Saturday, Friday, Sunday. Like that is fucked compared to what we have now. But there's still so much opportunity to make money. And you just have to adapt. So what's changed? I mean, maybe bookies have got a little bit stricter with promotional banning and stuff like that. But reality is there's still as much opportunity to make profit. You just have to be able to know how to and be just in the loop. Like be active. In terms of what's changed, nothing really that's going to change your ability to make money. There's this thing that I've been pushing lately is like removing your limiting beliefs, because like you take us 12 months ago, we launched a podcast in December with like the cash on the table. We called it the 100K in 2024 podcast. That podcast woke a lot of people up to realize that there's actually more to this than just making 4 or 5K a month at the ceiling. Now we've got people making more than 50 a month. And it's like, well, how is that possible? Even just bringing Greenie into our team. Like if you told us that people were making consistently like 60, 70, 80 a month, then we're like, no, that's like kind of not possible, or what a load of shit. But then once you just move your beliefs up and you see it happening, it's like, well, fuck. Now it's like, okay, well, this is actually possible. And the same thing goes with match betting. The people that are doing these crazy unit sizes are doing the exact amount of time that you are spending on your Saturday. But yes, they're making 20 times what you're making. So like once you start to sort of see that possibility, your brain starts to think. And the people out there who have that inner sort of challenge in them, they always are the ones who ask, and they're the ones that go to the highest level. But 12 months ago, we couldn't do that. So internally, I would say that is what's changed within our community. We've got a pathway now to be able to actually get people to print money, like literally print money, versus kind of being conservative and focusing probably too much on sustainability. Not that we don't focus on it anymore, but there's so much pathway open now for you to go to that high level if you want to.
Yeah. And then I'm going to follow on that with a question from Illusion. I can't remember where it's gone, but yeah, here it is. What are the big changes coming to the horse system? So, I mean, the biggest change, which will be fully finalized by the end of this month, is that it's a platinum-only service. So horse system, it used to be open to the general public. Now we have closed it off to purely platinum members only. So obviously everyone in this webinar, you won't have any problems with that. But the reason we've done that from our side is basically just to make the service better. I'm not going to say that we will like held back by the non-platinum members, but we were always considering whenever it would come to do this for the horse system, should we? Yeah, we sort of were, but it's our fault. But it's like, should we do this? Or whenever we were considering changes for the horse system, we always had to consider such a wide spectrum of followers, people who literally don't even know how to turn over a bonus bet, to people following on a $250 unit size or above even. And so that meant that naturally we're just spreading ourselves thin, and it meant that we couldn't focus all of our decisions to, all right, we want to provide the best service for people that are on 50, 100, 150, $200 unit sizes. And we're constantly being like held back from, doing things that would benefit people on those higher unit sizes due to the fact that there's people who have no idea how to follow on a $10 unit size with 5 bookies. And, but yeah, so essentially that's the change. So we've made it to platinum only, which now what that means for the actual service is that it's going to be higher units outlaid. We're already starting to see bookies on the promo list that we would have never have seen before, and we never would have even thought about putting them on the promo list before. We're seeing, a higher outlay of units on races where the promo coverage isn't as solid. In the past, if there were times where we sometimes would have like 6 or 7 promos offered on a race, and we'd only tip 1 unit because we were considering, people who have just started following, they've only got 8 accounts and they don't have X, Y, Z, A, B, C. So they might only have 1 account. So we can't tip 2 units. But now it's like, nah, you're in platinum. You've got access to all the information that you need to have enough bookies to follow on a $500 unit size. Make it work. And if it means that you can't follow a race because you don't have promo coverage, well, it means that you don't follow the race, but we're not going to let, 499 other people miss out on potential, huge EV on that race. So we're already seeing it. The actual changes to the horse system, they're very much on show already. And I think, whilst they might only seem, subtle-ish, obviously they're quite prominent on the promo list, but it does make a huge impact in the long term scheme of things, because it means we might outlay a total of an extra 10 or 15% more profit, more units, over the year, which means we profit 10 or 15% more, as well as that. And it means we can be more selective and hit more high EV races, which is only going to improve our profit more. So the actual changes to the horse system are slowly being rolled out. There's still a couple of minor tweaks that are in the works as well. And obviously having Greenie on board, who is printing a stupid amount of cash every single month. He knows every single trick there is with the horse promos, which is elite. And that's, we're combining his knowledge with our years of I guess, data and experience, and slowly tweaking things as well with a few selections and outlay issues, or not issues, but outlay, I guess, choices as well. So ultimately, the biggest change is it's platinum only, and it just means that we're providing a service that is going to facilitate people to make bulk cash quicker and easier.
Nice. As someone completely new to this space, what does it look like when you're doing 10K months, and how does withdrawing and living off that look like? Good question, Christopher. I'm going to say that by Monday, I'll have that bankroll video in. Basically, how it's going to work is once you've allocated a bankroll to match betting, that bankroll is going to grow within your bookmakers. And then over time, that money is filtered out through banned accounts or through Betfair or whatever. But essentially, how you start is you allocate that money. You don't touch it. You don't need it for life. And then that just grows. Think of it like, this is a weird example I used to explain to people when I started match betting in 2014. Call it the fairy floss analogy. You put your stick in, which is your starting bankroll, and then the thing just spins around and just accumulates lots of fairy floss. And then when you're ready, you want to go on a holiday, you take a bit of fairy floss, you eat it. Steve loves it. And then you slowly just cash that fairy floss in eventually, and you eat it all, and it just gets too big, and then you take bits off whenever you want. But match betting is literally a never-ending fairy floss thing that goes around in a circle, and your stick just grows and grows. And then you take bits off. But where people go wrong is they put their stick too far in, and then they don't have any sticks left, and then they're done. It's like they put too much money in. You use an amount that you don't have to start. Like, you don't need outside for your life. You don't need to pay bills. You don't need to pay nappies. You don't need it for rent. And then you allow that to grow over time. And then you don't actually have to worry about withdrawing it. It just grows. So you might put 10K in to start, and then in 12 months time, you made 100K. And then it's just come out over time through banned accounts or whatever. And then you get to a point where you can take it out whenever you want, sort of thing. But if you do it properly, you shouldn't need that money outside of your betting accounts. So it doesn't actually matter. I'm not sure if that helps.
Pretty good.
Never heard the fairy floss before?
No, I haven't heard you say that one. That's a new one. I really like it, though. It actually provides a really good visual representation of what happens. The money just attracts itself to more money somehow.
It's not wrong.
No, it's fully spot on. It's one of your better ones, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a few good ones.
Glenn McGrath reckons just don't get wet.
Yeah.
I like that.
Make sure you bowl straight, Glenn.
Line and length.
Yeah, very consistent. Awkward pace.
Yeah, good back of a length.
There was one.
One question from Sam. Recommended number of warmed up bookies before following the horse system.
There's a new video in the horse system. If you haven't watched it, I would encourage you to watch it. It literally answers this question. I would say minimum 12. Like, get more though. Like, get like 15. Yeah. Like, the more you have, the better it is.
Just get them all. Yeah. But having said that,
yeah. So you go.
Well, I was going to say, if you're someone like sort of what we said at the start of this webinar is, don't wait 3 or 4 weeks till you've got 15 fully set up and then get into the horse system. We're giving you a 3 month for a reason. Get in now, expose yourself to it now while you're setting it all up, because the first couple of weeks, it's going to be very valuable for you to see it all unfold whilst you're setting it up, so that when 3 weeks comes, bang, you're ready to follow and you're not ready to start learning how the horse system operates, because it takes probably a couple of weeks to get your head around things.
And as I said before, you're not going to get banned on a $10 unit size. So you can actually start following if you had, say, 10, but just don't go above a $10 unit size. But if you want to wait the extra week to have 15, do that. But the other thing as well, this is probably giving away a little bit. So, I mean, it's okay, actually, in terms of, like, don't take this the wrong way and then get your sports bet or tab banned. But remember, each bookie is different, right? So use common sense. If we know Sportsbet and Tab are the best bookies, then technically we can use them more than the others because they're not going to ban as much. However, obviously don't then go and get your Tab or your Sportsbet banned. What you can do is if you've got 15 bookies and you know you've got to use 40 promos in a week, you might use Sportsbet 6 times. That's probably okay for the week. Remembering there's that ratio thing of how much promos are they offering, how many promos are they offering versus how many are you using. If they're offering, these days they're offering not as much. They're offering like 14 on a Saturday, 7 and 7, whereas previously they might have gone like 27. If you're using like 5 promos out of 27, you're only using like 1/5 of their total promos. Versus a Swift bet, if you were to use 5 promos, they're only offering 5 for the week, let's say. You've used 100% of their promos, you're done very quickly. So you can use that to your advantage. If you can get Sportsbet, Tab, use a couple more of those promos, and then the other bookies are just there to sort of top up. And then you can use your 1 or 2 on those bookies, and you're less likely to get banned. So just use that little bit of common sense to your advantage. A little tip there for those of you who are paying attention. Ramon says he has a Tab account that's been open for a year with 0 bets. Totally forgot about how should he go about it since it's been open for a year with no bets. I would treat that as a new account. That's probably a really good account, to be honest. Don't waste it. Don't abuse it. Get your 10 to 15 on promos. Slowly introduce your promo size. Start with maybe $20 unit sizes, $10 unit sizes. Slowly get that up. Obviously, if your unit size is $50 for horses, you don't actually have to place $50 bets on every bet. You can place 20 and 30 and split that over 2 bookies. You can change things up. Yes, you're using an extra promo, but you are keeping your Tab healthy by not going and betting $50 on the first time you use pro. So good question, but hopefully that one helps. If someone is already on a $50 unit size opening a new account, should they prime the account starting with $50 units or should you start lower? I assume you mean prime by non-promo. Again, that what I just said is quite valid. Like you can do 20, 30 and then slowly build it up. Just because you're on a $50 unit size doesn't mean you have to do $50 bets. You can do a mix. Just make sure you have enough accounts to actually spread it over though. But again, depends on the account illusion. I wouldn't be starting $50 units on any bookie apart from maybe sports, but even so, I still wouldn't do that. I'd start lower. My last question would be, in one of the YouTubes, one of the mentorship member made 2K on non-promo mugs. How is that possible? I'm always taking 1 to 2% loss. Non-promos in mentorship is very different. It's taught in a different way. They're doing different things. I wouldn't be worried about that if you are not currently at the level to join that. I know I've spoken to you and you're just working on Bankroll a bit. Eventually you'll get there. But if you are someone who is in the position where you should be looking towards that, I know a lot of you are wanting to take your match betting to the next level. Obviously, we've got the Telegram account, road to 150K. So just reach out there, send you an application form. A lot of you think you're not ready, but there's been probably 12 applicants this week, and a lot of you surprise yourselves and probably you're going to join. So it's exciting to see you guys, as I said before, limiting beliefs get broken once you see what's possible and you get the guidance to actually do it. We're getting a lot of questions here at the bottom. Liam, if we're getting second, third promos on a non-horse system day, should we be targeting these as well? Obviously, subject to ratios. I'll still want to be using less than 50% of total promos offered. You can use extra promos outside of the horse system. Obviously, once you start thinking a bit more, you can definitely get more out of your accounts, but you just have to be aware that obviously if you are using more promos, there's a chance you're going to get banned. The question is, how are you using them? I wouldn't be going out and backing horses with no system. You can do the horse promo method, which is much safer and much lower downside, especially without any proven system that you have. But yeah, you can definitely use your promos outside of the non-horse system days, but just know that you're definitely increasing your chance of being banned in the process.
Read that question from Nathan. That's
in the past month, I've primed at least 3 accounts with 30 non-promo bets. These bookies have not offered any promos in that time, and I haven't placed any further bets on these accounts in the past 2 weeks. Should I return to these accounts when they start to provide promos? The problem is 12% of my bankroll is tied up in these 3 accounts. I would love to know what bookies they are, if you're still here, Nathan. But I mean, accounts that are offering no promos, what would that be? Like Top Sport maybe, or
No, I would expect
Unibet or something.
Unibet offer promos, but I imagine he's talking about account exclusive. If they don't offer promos at all, just withdraw that money straight away, I would say.
Yeah, but
if it's impacting bankroll, ideally don't. But if it's
12% is not that much though.
Well, it's not. But 12%, yeah. If you are not signing up to other bookies because you've got no money to deposit into them, and these bookies aren't offering you any promos, they're like. But if they're like bookies like PlayUp or
Colossal, Elite Bet, Gold Bet, yeah, withdraw.
What are
Elite Bet need to get turned on. So what I would do is ask Elite Bet, but Gold Bet and Colossal Bet, I mean, I don't even think they have promos. Does Colossal have promos?
Colossal Bet has the odd promo every now and again. Not worth it.
No, withdraw from. I mean, Gold Bet is definitely a bookie that does offer deposit matches on losing accounts, but I wouldn't be prioritizing that.
Not where you are at the moment.
If I was you, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, free up that bankroll for sure. Definitely on Colossal and Gold. I would ask Elite Bet, go on the chat and play like a mug. Like, hey man, like I've been seeing your promos that you advertise, or just say I've been seeing your specials that you advertise on your website. Would love to have a crack at these or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to go bet at Sportsbet. But yeah, probably it'll be a yes or no. And if they say no, just withdraw it.
I'll probably say no. With Elite Bet, you could probably stagger the withdraw a little bit and see if that triggers anything. Maybe withdraw like 10%, 20%, then place another non-promo, then maybe something will happen. Just, I don't know, try things.
You have to ask though, I think, for Elite.
You don't have to ask, but...
Have you got them without?
I've got them without, yeah. The way I got them with my most recent Elite Bet was just... this was a while ago, mind you, though, but I just hammered like 5 non-promos, 5 races in a row. And then it kept going to pending review for my bet. And then the trader obviously just got sick of it and just...
What bet size was that?
Oh, they all would have been like $25 to $50 bets.
Okay.
And it was just random bets, like random Wednesday night. But that's just that was a while ago, mind you.
I seem to be depositing into Betfair and filling up my bookie accounts. Is that normal? Yes, definitely. It can happen. But again, if your bankroll, I need to send this video out ASAP because it's going to fix a lot of people's issues up. You just need to allocate an amount that you don't need for life, and then you just put the money away in a separate bank account for your match betting. And then don't worry about it. Like, don't think just because you're putting money into Betfair, it's a problem. If you've allocated 5K, let's say, away from your live funds, and that is your match betting money, in theory, you should distribute that bankroll into bookmakers, taking sign-up offers, following the horse system, whatever. And then you should have some kind of bank that's left over for any distributions of any like offers that come up or new bookies or whatever that happen. Then over time, the money you put in has grown, but then you still have your life funds away from it that you aren't needing to take out. That's the key. But if you're worried about it and you're constantly looking at the money that's going in, then there's obviously some kind of, either you've got not an issue, but like you've got to get over that obsession around wanting to get the money back and accept that this is an investment and it's going to grow over time. And you've allocated that away from money you need to spend. Don't worry about it. Yes, it will. If you're betting on the correct things, which if you're following the rules, you're turning over bonuses, some of them are going to win. That means your Betfair is going to get drained, sort of thing. That is normal. Your bookie accounts will grow. You cannot control the balances of them. So delete the focus on them and just manage your bankroll to the point where you just rule number 1 is don't use money you need for life, and then you should be fine long term. But I'll post that video very soon so everyone's across it.
I'm pretty knackered, not going to lie.
Yeah, I think we're done. But Mooney Valley tomorrow night, are we going to print or is there no promos? We'll be the horse system will be going tomorrow night. Obviously, we're not focusing on any days, Mr. Dre. Just another session. But yeah, there will be promos. Saturday is also probably going to be pretty big as well with the grand final day. Not that it's any different to any other day, but yeah.
Potentially Sunday as well.
Yeah, right. Okay. The bookies love to sort of get people betting over this long weekend.
Yeah, everyone's on the piss. Get everyone on the punt.
Exactly.
Donate their hard earned.
Free money.
Yeah, free money for them, free money for us.
How many same game multis promos on tab per week can we get away with, considering they have promos on almost every sport? Is 5 a week fine? Matt, I would ask that in the Discord for sports system if you're already in there. If you're not, then it's different. It's impossible to tell you without knowing your stake and what you're doing. I would say 5 is quite high. We definitely don't use. Do we use 5 a week for sport for tab? Nah. How many are we using?
We're using about 5, I think. 4 or 5.
Okay. Yeah. That's on the limit. I wouldn't go any higher. But yeah. Last question, Nigel. How do we stay under the radar, so to speak, with bonus turnover and non-promos? In that, for non-promos, we will be going for a first or second favorite, then always turning over bonus between 6 or 9 higher. Yeah. That's correct. Obviously, that is the play. Definitely non-promo, lower odds. And then bonuses, you're looking at 7 to 30, but ideally 7 to 15 is your best bet. But in terms of staying under the radar, you can throw in Fudge and Fudge multi-method here or there. You can mix things up a little bit, go lower odds, go higher odds sometimes, change the stakes up, things like that definitely can help. I think we'll leave it there.
Last quick question. Are boosts appropriate to use for non-promos? No. Boosts are...
They're not a non-promo, yeah.
You hammer boosts, you get done.
Yep. I'm just starting with my first match for sure. When I get my first match deposit, should I gamble that on multis to fit in, or is that safe to turn over? Glenn, definitely turn your bonuses over, all of them. I know in the course, I'm not sure if you've watched the first videos, but it does say that you can do like your first 10% of any bonus. You can definitely look at doing a couple of random bets, but don't make this a habit. Literally your first ever batch, do 10% max. Even like sports bet and tab, I wouldn't even do that. But some of the smaller bookies, you might have an advantage of doing it. But even so, you could do a Fudge multi method. If you go in module 4 and learn that, and that's your multi, like you don't even have to gamble. That is your free turnover, and you're still going to make a greenie multi method, not a Fudge multi method, or even a Fudge multi method you could do as well technically. But I wouldn't be gambling bonuses unless you are printing off the remaining 90% of that bonus. All right, I think that's it. Unless there's, that's it. Hang on, how long? What about that Matthew question?
How long would it take someone who is new to match betting and just commenced the horse system to get to the level to be ready for mentorship? Understanding bankroll is a big factor, but assuming that's all good, for someone super dedicated, what is the best case scenario to get to the level to join? Probably a question for you.
I love that question. I met Matthew in the gym the other week, the other month. So thanks for saying hello, Matthew. This question is probably relevant for a lot of people. If you've got the bankroll, apply now, because I'll tell you if you're ready to join or not. Generally, if you're someone who has what it takes and you have the bankroll, technically you should just join. If you watch the J2G podcast, he actually came to us last Feb and he said, hey, I want to join mentorship in like 4 months. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. So, okay, you've already made your decision to join. Yes. Okay. So what do you want to wait for in 4 months that's going to benefit that? Nothing. Okay. See you next week. He flies to Melbourne and then we get him onboarded and now he's doing very well. Name one thing in your life where you make a decision and then wait 6 months to do it. And that's kind of how I like to challenge people on this. If you've got the bankroll, you want to have probably like above 20, then you should be saying, okay, let's go. And then like, yes, you probably have some things that you still need to get better at, but with the guidance of Lenny and now Greenie, who are going to work with you together, like you just get fast forwarded through the progress. And then like in 6 months time, where you would have been compared to that is just like astronomically different. You look at someone like Fudge, who pulled the trigger and now he's made 100K since joining that podcast. It's like fucked. And yeah, if you got the bankroll, Matt, reach out to that channel, Road to 150K on Telegram, just literally at Road to 150K, and I'll send you a form. Same goes with anyone else, and then jump in and I'll reply to you. Like there's a bunch of questions and then I'll go through the thing to decide whether you're ready or not, and then just get back to you there. There's probably like 10 people that are still waiting on a reply. So I dare say that if you got the money, man, get in. And essentially, if you're in the area that we work in, then you can just get onboarded and get into the office with Lenny pretty quickly and get going, especially with the Spring Carnival now. So, yeah, I guess we'll leave it there. That's been one of the best, I think. I definitely think we'll put this in the course. But yeah, thanks for everyone to jumping on. Thanks for Steve for getting out of his the mattress, and he's in the desk now. So good work. And thanks to the Wi-Fi for showing up for the last 45 minutes. So thanks for. But that was enjoyable. I got to go downstairs and cook a steak.
Too easy. Make sure you cook it at least medium rare.
I'll put it on my story if anyone wants to see what it looks like.
It'll still be bleeding for spoilers.
All right. Good work.
All right.
See you
Cheers,
next time.
guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya.